This short video, I'll be talking about the officially announced weapon banner. So on this version 2.6 Phase 1 weapon banner, we will be getting the debut for Kamisato Ayato's signature weapon, the Haran Geppaku Futsu, a 5-star Hydro sword, a one-headed sword, and also we'll be getting a rerun for Venti's signature weapon, the Elegy for the End Bow. So I don't have the Elegy for the End Bow, so I will be using the we will be using the archive to talk about it. I guess maybe, or actually I can't actually because I don't have access to it. Let me just double check. Yeah, so it won't light it up actually, so I won't even get the details for it. Okay, that's fine. So then I do have the details here actually. So I'm doing this live. So okay, so let's talk about the first of all the new debut weapon then. So I already recently just talked about the weapon options for Ayato. Do check out that video. It goes through a bunch of weapons. It's in a pre-release stage. So once we get the actual weapon banner, and also once people test it out, like other streamers, I mean, test it out and such, and once I make a decision on whether or not I'm going to pull on this weapon banner or not, then I will let you know. And of course, if I do get the weapon, then I can let you know, of course, in more detail too. But even if I don't get the weapon, then I will still do a updated, released, official review or discussion about it and compare it to other, similar weapons. I already talked about them in a pre-release format. So do check that out. That video is already posted. But I will go into more detail for the Haran Geppaku Futsu, of course. So I won't go into too much more detail here. So I'm keeping this one short for that portion. I will say that from this point forward, though, I will say this other than that one sword, okay? This banner for myself, my thoughts, is it's a skip. But it doesn't mean that it's a must skip, and it doesn't mean it's a must pull. It's a skip for me because there's nothing else here other than that one sword that I would want. That's why. So I just want to put that out there early. But that aside, though, because we do have Venti on the screen here. So I just have Shinchu here as a placeholder for Ayato. But anyway, Venti. So what I do have for him, though, on weapon side, I don't have the Elegy for the End. That's his best in slot because it's going to be basically the 5-star version of the stringless. So for those of you like myself, if you're the early game players and you got Venti earlier in the game, I didn't get him in 1.0 because I started this game at 1.1, but I got him at 1.4 during his first rerun. And that was when they released the Elegy and I did not pull for it. And then I think it did rerun one more time after that, but I didn't pull for it either. Didn't care for it because in the Windbloom event 1.4, we got this bow, the Windbloom Ode, and it's basically like a event-free version of the stringless. So either one would be good. They're both Elemental Mastery substats, which is basically what the Elegy is offering as well. Of course, that one would have higher numbers for the main base attack and the Elemental Mastery number as well. And that one would have a better passive. I'm not going to go into the details here or read off the card, but that one would have a better passive that's suited specifically for him, obviously because it's his signature weapon. But these two are very good weapons too. I know that some newer players won't have the Windbloom Ode, so if you can get the stringless, and unfortunately the stringless is not on the new weapon banner, but may have been on the more recent weapon banners, I believe, and you can still get it like as an off rate up weapon as well. It is a standard weapon. So I would say that I'm fine with my Venti using stringless. He's doing fine with this. For those of you who have 5-star options, another 5-star option in lieu of the Elegy is the Skyward Harp, which I do not have. But the Skyward Harp was his best in slot until they released the Elegy, because they didn't have a specific signature for him originally, and then or maybe they wanted that to be his signature and then they changed it. So that one is the Skyward Weapons is a very universal set of weapons, I would say. So they're good with any character, and they can be considered placeholders as well until you get better signature weapons if you do choose to go that route. But that would be a very solid weapon to have, and that weapon is available as a standard 5-star weapon that you can get from the standard banner and from losing the 50/50 on any special limited weapon banner as well. So those are options that are viable against the Elegy. Other 5-star bows here, these are not suitable for him unless you build him in crit. So I'm going to kind of skip over them in a general list form. And he's not really a charge attacker. So these are kind of skips for sure. Okay. And then another bow that I want to talk about is the Moten's Moon. This is on the current Raiden Shogun and Kokomi banner. And this is good for the burst, of course. So this is okay too if you want to build him that way as a burst support, because that is technically the major damage for his kit. Give me 1 second here. I'm just taking a sip of water. All right. So Sorry about that. I had to take a sip of water because I did a few videos back to back just now. All right, so anyway, I'll keep that in this video. I'm not going to edit it out. So anyway, the Moten's Moon would be good on him too, but I don't think that it's necessary, especially I don't also feel that he's a necessary character to have anymore, but for those of you who are trying to get him and have been waiting to get him, for sure, if you have a Moten's Moon lying around, this would also be an optional, a good option weapon for him if you have gotten this. Moving along, um, we'll talk about the Rust next because the Rust is one of the 4-star weapons on this weapon banner. And it is not suitable for him because it's for normal attackers. This is more for like a Yoimiya and previously also for a child. So not for him at all. But it's a really good weapon if you're trying to get this for those characters. Or for any other normal attacker bow user that you're planning to. But I can, as you can see on the screen, of all the other bow attackers, those are the only ones that will be more suitable for this. Okay, so the Hamayumi is not bad, but it is normal attack damage, so it's not good for him. The Favonius is a universal weapon, so this could be a placeholder. Favonius set of weapons is very universal. Same goes for the Sacrificial, but Favonius in this case would give more energy, but he already generates a lot of energy. So, I mean, that's an okay option, especially if you're early game. Same with Sacrificial. The Sacrificial just allows him to do his elemental skill twice, which is okay. It's not like a big part of his kit, but the elemental skill does help, so that's okay too, and it has energy recharge as well. Compound Bow, this is a craftable, and this is not suitable for him because it's physical damage and normal attacking and charge attacking is not suitable for him. The other one that's craftable is the Crescent Bow, and that one's not good because that one requires you to have charge attacks at the weak spots, etc. So I would skip that altogether. The Predator, this is just garbage because this is only meant for Aloy and only if you're playing on PlayStation, so I would skip that. Alley Hunter is one of the limited Mondstadt ones. This is a very niche weapon. I wouldn't bother with this. This is for off-field bow users, so that only really applies to, I think, Fischl and maybe Amber if you throw at her, like, her E or whatever, but I don't even know if that's that useful, right? I don't think this really applies for any other bow user, really. Maybe Aloy if you throw out her little bombs. But anyway, let's not speculate on this. This is not suitable for Venti. So those are the options for him. I went over the bows. So long story short, for the 2 5-stars, just to summarize at this stage, and I'll talk more about the other 4-stars. The Haran is a wait and see, and it's definitely, in my opinion, actually, because the rest of this banner is not a must pull. I would say just skip this banner altogether and save your resources. You can give Ayato if you get him. You can give him other weapons that are viable, and I already talked about that in my pre-release weapons options video, and I will talk about it again once in more detail once we do get him released and get the weapons out there, because I will do my usual like versus video where I'll have a Haran versus the other options, kind of more detailed analysis only on select weapons. Because the other one was more of an overview where I go over all the weapons. Okay, so moving along, let's just quickly go to the polearm side. The polearm on this banner, on the 4-star banner, is going to be it's going to be this one, the Dragonbane. This is a good beginning, early game weapon. It's still okay for a Xiangling, even in the late game. However, she has better options, such as the Catch, and Favonius, perhaps even. So, but this is okay, and this is also okay for Hu Tao. So this is not a horrible weapon, but this comes back often enough that this is not a must pull. Okay, moving along. Sword next. So the next one is the Flute. The Flute is a very early game weapon. As you can, I did get Chi-Chi really early. Of course, many people have as well, and I got a few constellations for her. I just left her with the Flute, and I never decided to give her anything better than the Flute, and I just left her with that. So this is a very early game weapon. I wouldn't recommend this for Ayato, but if you're early game and you don't have access to other weapons, then this could be your placeholder for the beginning, because it is on this rate up for this banner. But it's not a must pull, and this weapon is technically meant to be fodder for most people. I just kept it around because I did spend the resources on it to get R5 and level 90 way early, so I'm just keeping it. Okay, all right, and then moving along, Claymore. It's going to be the Sacrificial. I previously had this on my Chongyun, and then I gave it to Beidou for a period of time to just try out. So I've swapped them out since then. I also tried it out on Razor. Anyway, as you can see, it's currently not in use. It's not because it's a bad weapon. It's because I found other weapons for them. I did do a Chongyun or updated review video, a really quick one, where I was demonstrating him with the Akuamaru, and I really love it on him. The Akuamaru is also really good on Beidou, but because I did get the Skyward Pride also from losing 50-50, then one, I gave that to Beto instead, so hence no one's using this one right now. This would be good for those two characters, as I mentioned, and Razor, who is an early game player character that players could use, but may not be suitable overall. Sayu is actually better off with Favonius, in case you're wondering, and of course, other characters, other Claymore characters here, they would all be okay with Sacrificial as a placeholder, because Sacrificial is just like a Favonius weapon. They're placeholders for earlier game, but you don't need them later game. You want to get more powerful, more specific weapons, so it's not a must pull either. Last but not least, we can quickly find like a Catalyst user, and then we're good. So the Catalyst is going to be actually the Witzith. She has it on her right now. So this is the weapon. Let me just, yes, this is the one. So it's gonna be the Witzith, and yeah, it's an awesome weapon. It's actually good for Yaimiko, as you can see on the screen. It's also very good for Mona. It is okay good for the other more DPS role characters, but definitely not good for Kokomi. But it could be good for Klee, Ningguang, and Yanfei, and Lisa as well. And if you do choose to use your Barbara that way, I guess that could work. It's not good for Sucrose, who will be on the 4-star rate up for the character banner side. So yeah, I would say that this is a good weapon, but it's not like you have to go hard and heavy in this banner. This comes back often enough, and it is one of the standard off-rate banners as off-rate weapons in any of the standard banners as well. So it's not like you're missing out, okay? So overall, though, I'm gonna just leave it there and just say that this weapon banner is actually a skip overall, but individually, there are some good pieces in there. If you really want the Elegy for your Venti, or if you want to use it on other, because I find that the Elegy is really just meant for Venti. I don't think that any other bow users really can utilize it as well as he does, because other bow users, you wouldn't really use Elemental Mastery on them, because you might have other options for them. But anyway, I digress. I leave that there with you guys to decide. Yeah, the Haran, again, I'm interested in it. I am, but I'm definitely not spending for it. So if I have any leftover wishes throughout the patch before the banner ends, I will probably throw them that way and see if I'm lucky and get one. Like, obviously, we'll be hoping to get it early then, right? Like ASAP, because I'm at banner pity 0. Yeah, I don't need any of the 4-star weapons, but if of the 4-star weapons, the Rust, the Witzith, and maybe the Dragonbane are decent weapons. The Flute is not necessary, and the Sacrificial Greatsword is an early game thing. But technically, the Dragonbane is kind of only mediocre as well. It's kind of half and half. So only really the Rust and the Witzith are really good, and the others are kind of like mediocre, but definitely the Flute is definitely not good. So yeah, I will leave that there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you guys pulling for these weapons? Any of them? Are you missing refinements for them? Or are you going for any of the 5-star weapons on this banner? If you are going for it, I do wish you the best of luck, and please know what you're getting yourself into with the weapon banner, as you may have seen my recent polls on the current weapon banner, because I was trying to get certain things on there. Luckily, it worked out for me, but it doesn't mean that it's guaranteed to work out every time for everybody as well. So do know what you're getting into with the weapon banner. So good luck to you on your polls. If you are polling on the weapon banner or any of the character banners, please let me know in the comments below. Feel free to subscribe, hit the thumbs up like button, and that would really help. And check out my other videos. I did the pre-release analysis of Ayato, I did his weapon options pre-release, and I did the character banners discussion as well. And also, please stay tuned for me to do in-depth more analysis of Ayato, his weapons, and also I will be talking about the 2.7 rerun characters coming soon as well. So do stay tuned for that. I will also be doing a review for Sucrose, and maybe an updated review for both Yunjin and Ayaka as well. And my Shangling review is still valid from before, so do check those out. Of course, the Spiral Abyss is also coming up to have a new cycle soon, so do wait for those videos from me as well. And I hope that you guys enjoyed these videos. Please stay tuned, and I'll see you